that all of the founding members, that's the end of it, the founding members. So we have a lot of history to write, which we'll touch on later, about what's happened to us since our inception, and we really do need to have a record of that. Also, for the nominating committee, we had a lot of new members coming on at once this month, so we decided to do a new member orientation. And Nori and I were, from the executive committee, we were going to hold that. We were the ones who were able to attend. Everyone else had an obligation. So we did hold that. I think it was last week, and we have a great new group of new members, a lot of enthusiasm and positive attitudes and so forth. So we're looking forward to that. But I think Sue, Pam, and I are the founding members.
Mm-hmm.
Bridget's a founding member in her term. She fulfills her term this year.
Yeah.
Myself and Joyce are this year.
April the 25th, we do have a meeting scheduled for Girl Power next Tuesday in my office. Now, I realize if you're just put on that committee, you might not be able to make
around at Heidi's last night and talked to the Disruptivist group about Girl Power, especially since it was Women's History Month. And I mean, I was totally shocked because they presented us with a $100 check to be used for Girl Power. So I appreciate, I hope we get a thank you note out to them, but I was half hour only because there were two programs that felt that they didn't have enough time. Actually, the girls did not finish their project. Hi, Carrie. And that was masonry, I believe, and welding. And welding did a really cute hanger. And masonry, they made something that they could take home, you know.
The clock will be ready to go at 6:30 is what we're planning. So Cindy, say a few words, I hope. And Joellen, if you could say a few words there too, we'll do that. A few words. And I sent the article talking about our new members to the Daily News, and it was Deborah Brock. It was Mrs. Horace Brock. Her name was Deborah Brock. So it's very interesting. But I'll tell you, is that as you go out, as you know, in 18th century and 19th century, even 20th. We were just speaking about the people who wrote the articles for the paper, and it was Joellen Litz wrote one. It appeared on Saturday. We had Paula Downey has written one, and Heidi Neiswinder, and I have the last one. I'm Bev Heichman. Joellen will love this. We believe that women's suffrage should retard human progress, not help it, and that is why we are against the extension of the elective franchise to our sex, said Mrs. Brock. We do not believe that the ballot is the cure for all of our ills. We believe further that those who are demanding equal suffrage, while we admit their honesty and sincerity of purpose, are defying fundamental laws of nature and asking women to enter the realm of politics. And it goes on complete. But it's on March 28th, 1909, in the New York Times.
This together, and I think it's really neat how we're doing different things each year in Women's History Month, but you know.
Very good. It was neat to see how many people didn't realize we existed, but then knew some of the things that we as a commission have done. So we are the behind-the-scenes crowd.
This is what our intention is to be.
We are achieving that goal.
On the 19th at 7 p.m. And Maury Gehrig went to Lebanon Catholic on Monday night, the 9th.
What book would then we substituted? I'm not really sure anymore. So I think that the founding members that are still on the commission should meet at some point over the next month or two to review that history and see what we could add to it.
They're always like those files.
Well, Heidi, you had a suggestion about what to do with the minutes and the old files and how to preserve our history. Here we are celebrating Women in History Month. We need to decide how to preserve the history of this commission too.
Of various therapies and inform doctors that, you know, even though we know that diuretics are the best treatment and the cheapest treatment for high blood pressure and the most effective, you don't need these fancy drugs. Many doctors don't use them. They go to the name brand yada yada because they aren't aware of the research back, because you know, doctors have a lot to do. They don't have a lot of time to keep themselves current. So it makes a lot of sense.
I've been in weddings and you have all those wedding dresses, bridesmaids dresses in your closet. Not that I would anymore, but you know, when you're younger you do, and you never wear them again. And they would like to collect them, and this program was to send them to an impoverished area. However, Diana's program is going to be to keep them locally. And this is going to be the steering group for it. You know, we have a lot of kids who can't afford to go. Going to the prom is so expensive, or homecoming, and now would be the time to do it after this prom is over and people don't want their dresses anymore, and then we have homecoming and so forth. But I think it's a very timely solution because there are so many people who have lost their jobs, who have their hours cut, who've had their pay cut. It's just, Stephanie, you could probably speak to this with the kids that you see too, that
Trial thing for them.
the expense is just huge, absolutely huge. And, you know, I think the program that I saw, and my daughter had started to research some of this before I knew about this. I only found out about this program today, and went to some websites where they also do jewelry, like use costume jewelry, evening handbags, anything that girls could use for the prom, and how it's handled, you know, whether or not that one that she was sharing with me was called the glass slipper, and then when you went to pick your dress, you got a fairy godmother who would be like women our age, and they took you around and you could find a dress that fit you and look for you, your fairy godmother. Yeah, the kind of stuff we can do in the commission. We can be a catalyst to make this happen. Is Friday, March 20th at the Lebanon Family Health Services Building in classroom number 2 for the first annual 2009 prom dress sale steering committee to provide prom gowns for impoverished youth in our area.
But the old Salem, which is the gray stone building on the corner of 8th and Willow Street, is really not used very much. I mean, I take Tai Chi classes there, they have those, and they have some things like that, but they don't really use a lot. There is a church upstairs, it's beautiful, and it's a very historic church because it's the bell in the bell tower, which still can be rung, was rung in 1776 on July 4th after the Declaration of Independence was signed. They sent the message out and they rang that bell to celebrate it. That's how historical it is. And it's really a wonderful big old church in the bottom, but the upstairs is beautiful. It would make a wonderful like concert space. There's an old Miller off organ, which is also very historical because Miller organs were built in Lebanon and just for a short period of time. So it's just beautiful, but there's only so many things you can do with the sanctuary, even if it's deconsecrated. Downstairs,
is Bernie Wendler, and she's the committee chair, and it's 273-3830. The letter also says that the reuse must also fall within sanctioned use of a sacred place. And I believe Mark said that the organ alone is worth over $1 million.
It is.
I'm sorry. March 31st, 6 to 9 p.m.
PM.
So ladies' night, we would really appreciate any